The Avtomat Kalashnikova 47, or AK-47 as it's more commonly referred to, one of the most renowned and battle-tested rifles of all time, known for its simplicity, robust nature, and reliability under almost any condition. You'd be hard-pressed to find a rifle that can take a licking and keep on kicking quite like it. However, as Americans, we tend to pride ourselves on a rifle of a slightly different nature. Equally notorious, incredibly modular, and highly sought after by anti-gun zealots, the Armalite 15. Now, of course, with two of the most notorious rifles on the market comes a great division between enthusiasts. The age-old debate of which application reigns supreme. But what if I told you there was a perfect middle ground? A mutant hybrid that blends the best of both worlds. The modularity of an AR-15 and the firepower of an AK-47. Well, allow me to introduce the CMMG MK47. At first glance, you may just see this as a side-charging AR platform that happens to accept standard AK magazines. And while that is true to an extent, it's a bit more complex than that. And before all the AK aficionados go crazy in the comments talking about how this isn't a true AK, rest easy, boys. I know, and I'm not here to say that. However, what I am here to say is I believe this is a direct competitor to every single American-made AK on the market, and that's exactly what I'm setting out to determine on today's video. So while the true AK attributes may be limited to the Rock and Lock magazines and 7.62 cartridge, there's still a lot of AK feel to this bad boy. And that's without even mentioning what the other half of this beast brings to the table. So aside from the fact we essentially have an AR platform that accepts AK magazines, the most notable feature is going to be indicated by this folding stock. And that's the bufferless upper receiver that utilizes CMMG's proprietary compact action system, which basically consists of two guide rod and springs that are married to the bolt and carry it within the upper receiver. So that gives you the compact convenience of that folding stock, pretty much eliminates recoil, and makes for an easy takedown process, which unfortunately I can't show you due to YouTube's guidelines, but I'll go ahead and break this down so you guys can see what we're working with. Here's a closer look at the compact action system used in the Descent line of rifles by CMMG. You've got your AR-15 style bolt carrier group here, married to these dual recoil springs up top. So while this does utilize direct gas impingement to cycle just like your standard AR-15, due to having these dual recoil springs, you have a very similar impulse and operating feel to that of an AK-47. So it's a very unique system that makes for an incredibly reliable and smooth shooting experience overall. A couple other standout features that I wanted to mention are that you get an adjustable gas system so you're suppressor ready right out of the box, unlike a lot of AKs out there. You also get a non-reciprocating charging handle that can be flipped to either side, so if you're wrong-handed, or you just want to run it on the bolt side to simulate that of a standard AK like obviously I did, you have that option. Now before we hit the range and put this thing to work, there's one last thing I'd like to address. While I am a longtime CMMG customer and supporter, this particular rifle was actually sent out for my review by CMMG. While products featured in this video were sent out for review, this is not a paid promotion. This channel does not sell nor promote the sale of firearms or firearm-related products. Thank you for your attention to this matter. And with that being said, I'd like to give a huge shout out to CMMG for the opportunity to review not just this rifle, but another product that they sent out for my review that we'll be seeing in a future video. So keep your eyes peeled because that's going to be just as awesome. And speaking of new, the colorway you see here is currently unreleased, but I'm told that they plan on introducing it sometime around St. Paddy's Day of this year. So if you like what you see, you have something to look forward to. Now that's enough of the hubbub. It's time to hit the range to see whether or not the CMMG MK47 is America's answer to the AK. Welcome to the Midwest. For all you soda drinkers out there, this is the only thing this stuff's good for. This guy's been hanging tough on the long distance shots, so we're going to rip a semi-quick draw out to 200. Nice. That son of a bitch went right through there, didn't she? I thought that was just going to completely explode it. Anticlimactic. I didn't even know I hit it at first. So earlier we discussed the compact action system in the upper receiver, but I also wanted to talk about the lower receiver, which gives you that AK-47 style rock and lock magwell and paddle release, and the AR-15 style modularity, where you can easily swap out things like your grip, trigger, and safety selector. Now, I did take the liberty of swapping out the safety selector for a Radian Talon and the grip for a Dai Frico Kung Fu grip. Nothing against the CMMG stock parts that come on here, but these are just two parts that I always swap out on all of my AR-15, or in this case, AR-15 style builds. However, two stock products that I did want to talk about are this zeroed trigger. This is a super solid single stage trigger with a crisp break, punchy reset, and zero creep. As far as single stage triggers go, you can't really ask for much more. And then we have the folding stock, or Das Boot as I call it. This is a awesome polymer stock that gives you an adjustable cheek weld and length of pull, and just looks right at home on the MK47. Quick rip on the 15, then over to the 3-inch medallion at 25 yards. Woo, we peppered that biscuit. So here's the T-post we shot it off the top of, and it got sent all the way back into this ditch. Absolutely yeeted. Let's see if the old zeroed trigger still got legs on her, even with the 7.62. Oh yeah, she's a track star. All right, let's send one out to 350 yards. Nice. All right, we're going to try what might be my coolest trick shot to date. Now, I've done something similar on a previous video with the 5.56 rifle where I threw the rattle can in the air, waited for it to come in front of the target, then shot through the rattle can, still hitting the target. However, this time we're going to spice things up a bit and do it while walking with the 7.62. So I did quite a bit of shooting unsuppressed using the muzzle brake, and it performed great. But now that we've got that out of the way, it's time to move on to suppressed, the way you should always be shooting. You can't tell me that's not a work of art. So after the initial first shots running this with a can, I can conclude this bad boy was made to be suppressed. If you guys could do this channel a huge solid by liking, subscribing, commenting, sharing, and turning on notifications for future videos, that would be greatly appreciated. This is a small, low-budget channel, and as I'm sure you all know, ammo ain't cheap. However, the greatest payback is just being able to get this gun content out to more people, and you guys are the only way I'm able to do that. So thank you so much to everyone who's joined me so far, and I hope we continue to grow this channel into the future. God bless you all. Three rounds left. That's what I'm talking about. Let's see if we can hit a 150-yard shot walking. Hell yeah. You'll never believe me, but that was first try. Hence the joyous laugh. Now, when I say I shot through the bottom of that sucker, I mean, we just barely missed shooting straight through the 2x4. Just straight through the bottom. That's wild. Let's go 3-inch medallion at 25 yards and then rip one out to 100. So 350 yards unsuppressed was no problem. So we're going to go ahead and give it a shot with the can on there in the wind. Nice. It's currently 2 degrees outside, and as you can see, snowing. Which means you either have to be very dedicated to the craft or completely insane to be out here shooting. I like to think I fall somewhere in the middle. Nevertheless, what better way to get that true Russia vibe than in this climate? So we've got the Russia climate vibe going here, but nothing screams AK more than a little steel case ammo. So we've got some brown bag special Tele ammo out here, because you know what they say. If she can't eat the steel, she don't deserve the brass. How about a wildly unnecessary 50-yard hip shot on a 12-inch target? So for my final thoughts on the CMMG MK47, I should probably start off by saying that as a longtime CMMG customer, this rifle not only met my expectations, but greatly exceeded them just because of how unique it is and how much fun I had shooting it. So obviously with its hybrid nature, it doesn't quite meet the true AK or true AR criteria, and perhaps that's what I love most about it. CMMG was able to take peak aspects of 2 of the greatest platforms of all time and bring them together to create what is one of the most unique, exciting, and reliable weapons that I've ever shot. Honestly, I think that AK and AR lovers alike can equally appreciate all the unique features that the MK47 brings to the table. It truly is the best of both worlds. You have the ergonomics of the AR-15 platform with a manual of arms that's more akin to the AK-47. That said, regardless of your preference, I think there's a lot to appreciate with the MK47 that no other rifle can lay claim to. So in closing, I think the MK47 is a great option for folks on either side of the fence that want a smooth, reliable, and powerful rifle that is perfect for short to mid-range engagements. All things considered, one thing I know we can all agree on is that beneath all of the training and seriousness and responsibility that comes with being a gun owner and enthusiast lies the core of what drew us to guns in the first place: fun. And my friends, let me tell you, there is no shortage of that with the MK47. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. Please help support the channel with your engagement and sharing with your friends. And as always, cheers and God bless.
Just a good old boy.